In episode 25, I introduced you to Cynthia McNulty, owner of Essential Zodiac, and in episode 31, she gave her forecast for 2022, which had some interesting insights that seemed to pan out. Tonight, Cynthia is back with what to expect from the stars and planets in 2024. Welcome to the Peep Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Marag, and in this episode, we're visiting with astrologer Cynthia McNulty and talking about what 2024 might have in store for us. But first, I want to thank everyone who has recently subscribed to the podcast. Welcome aboard. PEEP stands for People Experiencing Everyday Paranormal, and my goal is to look at all aspects of the paranormal, experiencers, and the people who study it. I'm always happy to have regular people who have had paranormal experiences on the show. So, if you have a story or stories you'd like to share, reach out through the contact form at peeppodcast.com. That's P-E-E-P podcast.com. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my longtime listeners who have stuck with me and told their friends about the show. It's because of your support that I'm still here. Now back to this episode's topic. If you haven't listened to episode 25, you might want to go back and listen because it's an introduction to astrology with Cynthia. It's not necessary for enjoyment of today's conversation, but it might help. What I like to do with these yearly forecast shows is record in January and then listen again at the end of the year to see how reality did or didn't match the predictions. If you're skeptical of astrology, it's a good way to see if there's anything to it. In 2022, we discussed the upheaval that might occur in the summer, and boy, did it. So listen now for insights into the year, and listen again in December to judge for yourself whether astrology has value. Let's dive in with Cynthia. Hi, Cindy. How are you doing today?
I am good, Nikki. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you, and I am so thankful that you are back with us to talk about what we can expect astrologically for 2024.
Well, I'm thrilled to do it. I really enjoy getting the message out there so that we can all prepare for what's happening. 2024 is going to be a year of adjustment. You know, we've had all this upheaval with Pluto being in Capricorn and, since 2008. And we all have seen, what has occurred, institutions that were there forever, are no longer there. Everything has evolved, and it has to. I know change is scary. I don't like it either, but well, pardon me, I'm getting over a cold. If we don't change and we don't evolve and we stagnate, that is really not good for society. So, 2024 is going to be a big portal to a new era. Definitely, the age of Aquarius, as the fifth dimension used to sing about. I'm dating myself here.
I know the song.
But it's there's gonna be now an emphasis because Aquarius is about technology, innovation, spirituality, and what will work for the community. It's not going to be so individually based anymore. It's going to be more what is good for everybody?
Mhm.
What can we all benefit from? And it's not going to be instantaneous as these things happen. I mean, um, we can look back now and see what Pluto and Capricorn gave us. So it's going to be kind of a lot like that. It's going to take a while, for the energy to move forward. And when we get to the middle, we'll begin to see some of the changes. And Pluto entering Aquarius, that's a big deal. That because Pluto is going to be there for 20 years until March of 2043. So it moves into Aquarius on January 20th through September. Then we have Pluto retrograde back in Capricorn for a while. And then when it moves direct in November, it'll be in Aquarius until March of 2043.
Wow.
So this is a huge shift. Now, Aquarius is an air sign. It's a fixed air sign. So that means that energy is stable. So as like Capricorn was what we call a cardinal sign, that gets the energy going, and it can be volatile sometimes, as we can see.
Mhm.
Um, and right now we're dealing with the last degrees of Pluto in Capricorn. So that's always a bit of an upheaval as well until January 20th when Pluto moves into Aquarius. Um, so uh, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the late 1700s. And we saw the American Revolution, excuse me, the French Revolution, and the Industrial Revolution. Um, More recently, if we want to think back to March through June of 2023, that's when Pluto was in Aquarius for a small little taste of what's to come.
Mhm.
Uh, so if you think back, to what was going on for yourselves back then, you might get a taste.
Okay, that makes sense. Just thinking about what happened for me back then, and it was fun. It was well, I and talking about Aquarius being technology, so from
Right.
my job, because my day job is I'm an SEO content manager, and I am constantly working to help my clients be seen on Google. And last year, Google and some of the other big tech giants introduced their AI. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
so, and by AI in this case, I'm talking about generative AI. So, being able to do the chatbot thing, like everybody
Right.
can go on
Right.
Bing
Right.
or Bard and have a conversation with the chatbot. And it's going to lead to a lot of changes in SEO. So, last year around March, I started doing deep dives into how is this going to change my work and how
Right.
everybody
Right.
interacts with the internet. And so I can definitely see how Pluto in Aquarius can really affect everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, this summer we had the writers' strike
Hmm.
because of their concerns about artificial intelligence
Yep.
and how that would affect, their work. And, I mean, their creativity, their minds, that's their bread and butter, right? So, um, and of course the networks and the big production companies and all that, they're always trying to save money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the writers are like, hey, wait a minute, and it's a very complex issue that I'm simplifying here. But yeah, we're gonna see a lot of um, technology, surprising technology. Um, People are working on it already. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've got brilliant minds out there already, working on different pieces of technology. And, some will be great, like anything. Some will be great, and some we will have to, take a look at and, maybe put some boundaries around
Right.
that. So what we need to do also as we're watching all these changes is we have to step back and kind of look at it objectively. Because if we don't and we get caught up in the drama and the energy, it's only progress is going to happen
Mm-hmm.
whether we like it or not. There's going to be progress. So embracing it and being part of it, if there's something we don't like, well, just don't sit home and complain about it. Do something about
Right.
it. So that's my advice, is to be objective and to please, for the good of us all, find reputable news sources. Don't doom scroll, at 3 o'clock in the morning, on the dark web, because that's only going to give you a heart attack or a
Right.
stroke, and, you know, you have to take, Valium or whatever. And, Big Pharma already makes enough money on us, so we don't
Right.
need to give them any more. But, that is what I've been telling everybody, all my clients. It's like, take a breath and find reputable places where you can find the information.
Right.
Also, what we have going on, and the reason that it's so big is like when we talk about the outer planets, doesn't only affect us, it affects things globally. And again, we're looking at Saturn in Pisces, which happened in December. So Saturn is about limits and boundaries. Pisces is a mutable water sign. So it's intuition, it's feelings. So you might think Saturn's being rigid and Pisces magical thinking would be, oil and water, but it's really not. Um, Saturn lets us dream. It lets us dream Pisces dreams, but okay, how are we going to make it work?
Mm-hmm.
So you can dream about getting a new job, or you could dream about wanting a relationship or whatever. And that's all great. But now you got to put a plan together.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a new job, what do you want to do? Do you need to go to school, to improve your skills for that job? You know, um, check, what's going on in that industry so that you could be ahead of the curve, you know,
Right.
so that, yeah, take classes or, read up on different things.
Right. But like one of my favorite quotes from, I'm going to say the wrong one, possibly. Whitman, maybe? It's about castles in the sky. Like you should have your castles in the sky, but make sure you put a foundation under them. And that was a
Right.
totally not the exact quote, but
Well,
the idea.
we have a saying in my coven that the goddess helps those that help themselves. So I could do all the spell work I want, all the energy work I want to get a new job. But if I sit on the couch eating bonbons and watching reality TV, I'm not going to get a job.
Right.
So, you have to, look at job postings and, sharpen your skills, get that resume out and things like that. And, take responsibility, take
Right.
responsibility. The other big planet, truly big planet, is Jupiter is going to enter Gemini. Now, Gemini is another air sign. So as you can see, 2024 is going to be very airy and cerebral, a lot of thinking, where prior to this, most of the outer planets um, were in earth signs. Uranus will still be in Taurus for a while. Pisces, excuse me, Neptune will be moving into Aries in a year or two. So those will make changes too. But for Jupiter, we have Gemini, which is an air sign connected with Mercury. Mercury is Gemini's ruler. And so we're about information. And that's what Jupiter is about, expanding our intellect. But we have to be careful because Gemini could be a lot. Gemini can, wants to um, find every bit of written, information. And it can be like overload, you know. So and Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter makes everything bigger. So we're gonna have to be careful about our, keeping a lid on overdoing it, doing
Mm-hmm.
too much, because then nothing will get done. You want to be able to sort through the chaos and pick out, what is going to be beneficial for you. Now, also, Jupiter, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, will square Saturn twice this year. So that should be, and that should be very interesting. And for you, Nikki, the world of media might have a lot of changes. So you might see some pieces of your industry dissolving, but other avenues opening up. So keep your
Yeah.
ear to the out there and see.
Yeah. I appreciate the heads up on that. I can definitely see things changing very quickly in media
Yeah,
and on the
yeah.
internet. Everything is just happening so fast these days.
It it is. It is. So and with air, when you have air signs, things do move rapidly because it's all cerebral, it's all in the mind. It can be sometimes a bit intangible. Now, as far as the retrogrades this year, Mercury has only three retrograde periods. They're all in fire signs, so they're going to be a lot. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So that'll be in April, August, and November for the retrogrades. We might feel our creativity being sluggish when the fire signs are, retrograde. Um, Tempers might be a little short. So, we want to make sure that we keep that in mind. And I always have information about the retrogrades. You can on my website, so you can always check those out.
And that's
Um,
essentialzodiac.com.
Yes. Yes. And you can also, I'll put in a little plug here, sign up for my newsletter off my website.
Mm-hmm.
And that will have all the information about retrogrades and things like that. So keep you abreast of what is going on. Mars will also be retrograde this year. And Mars only goes retrograde like every 2 years. So it's a big deal. And Mars rules Aries. So all your Aries friends out there from December 26th to February 23rd are just going to be off their game. They are. Their planet is retrograde and they're going to feel sluggish. And while, and I always find this interesting because I have a very dear friend who's Aries, and she's my warrior princess. That's what I call her. She's the
Yeah.
warrior princess. She's an activist, has a lot of charities she does work for, and all that. Um, and when her planet is retrograde, and like she's not a weepy person, but when her planet is retrograde, she's like, crying at Hallmark commercials. So we have to be very gentle with her while she works through her retrograde. But yeah, the ram turns into a lamb experience. So if you have airy friends out there, treat them kindly. For the rest of us, we'll find our tempers being heightened. It works the opposite. All Aries are all little lambs, and the rest of us are like ready to fight. So we want to keep that in mind. It'll be right around the holidays through Valentine's Day. So
And
you
that's
might
next
want to, yeah.
that's next year. Like 2023 into 2020. I mean, wait, what year is it? 2024 into 2025. It's still January, y'all. I'll figure out what year it is by February.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be uh December 2024 through February 23rd,
2020.
2025. That's the end of this year.
It's I remember when 2024 seemed like a long time ago.
Really,
I mean,
right?
a long time to come. I can't even get my You would think that I'm an air sign right now. I'm
Ah,
okay.
no worries, no worries. Now, there's two notable uh transits that are going to be happening. Um, so one is Jupiter is what we call conjuncting Uranus. They're both going to be in Taurus. This happens every 12 to 14 years. So with this alignment, we'll be looking at stock market, and I will find when that is. April 20th is when Jupiter will conjunct Uranus and Taurus. We also will be looking at some changes again to technologies and innovations. This is not a destructive transit, but it can be unpredictable because Uranus is unpredictable. But, if we tap into this energy, it'll be very beneficial to us.
Okay.
The last time Jupiter and Uranus transited like this, Instagram was founded. So,
Okay.
yeah, so this is what you can kind of look for. And yeah, I always find that interesting. I always try to look back and see what occurred, so we have an example. So the second important transit that we have is Jupiter in Gemini is squaring Saturn in Pisces, and that'll happen on August 19th and December 24th. This is another one of those transits that look at our financial markets. So you want to watch for your investments. You want to watch out for your investments. While it can be more chaotic, one of the things that it's good for is setting and enforcing boundaries. So Jupiter may want to, because it's expansion, be more excessive. But we have Saturn, keeping a lid on it and saying, okay, if you want to do these things, what's your plan? How are you going to make this work? So for those two times, August 19th to December 24th, it's a good time to look at things and make sure they're going the way you want them to.
Okay.
So finally, a little bit about the US elections. all, all of my astrologer friends, I mean, if you get 10 astrologers in the room, they're going to have 10 opinions. That's just how we are. That is just how we are. It's really at this point difficult to really pin down what is happening, because while the energy is out there, everybody has free will and can do like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So just because I'm saying this, it doesn't mean that the American people or the candidates are going to do what I say.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, and it's been hectic because of everything that's been going on with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I know his fraud trial, there will be a decision at the end of January. They did closing arguments today, and now the judge has to go and render his opinion, and that'll be, he said, by the end of January. So that will have some kind of effect, along with the other court appearances that he had.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. I mean, it's assumed that Biden will be the Democratic candidate, but I've heard that might not be.
Yeah.
It might be someone else. So right now, there's really no easy answer. And I wish there was one. I wish it was a little bit more cut and dry. But when we look at the natal charts of right now who's on the ballots,
Mm-hmm.
no one really stands out, Democratic or Republican. So we won't know until I think the slate is
The candidate field is narrower.
pardon.
Like the candidate field is narrower.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
the other situation that's happening is the release of Jeffrey Epstein's diary.
Yeah.
And all the John Does or the Does are being named. So that may or may not have some implications, because I heard Robert Kennedy is on the list, Clinton, and a couple other people. So, Trump.
Yeah.
So, if that's the case and they're arrested, that'll change things. So, there's so many variables that it's impossible right now to weed through what is going on. The best thing I could say is we have to get out and vote. There's no more apathy. You can't be apathetic, not anymore. You can't be at home just waiting for things to happen. You have to take a stand. So until we know a little bit more, everything is still up in the air. The one thing is that Pluto will be in Capricorn during its retrograde period from September 1st to November 19th, which overlaps the election. But, but then it'll go into Aquarius. Pluto will go into Aquarius. So that will certainly have some kind of energy release, that it will be global. And we're not the only ones having issues. I mean, I know the UK is having trouble, and France and Germany. So it's not isolated just to the United States. So
Yeah.
When you have a global energy out there, it touches everybody. So, but that is so far that um it's always interesting to me, I'll talk about, what's happening, but I'll have a chance in December to reflect.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting time.
Definitely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of big changes. But it's and my thing is it's gonna happen. I mean, that energy's there. So let's take advantage of it and use it to our benefit, or prepare for it. If there's going to be something volatile, prepare for it before, it comes, so that you know what you're going to do.
Right. Right. And that is why I subscribe to your to your forecast. Like I get the personal forecast every month. And it's funny, sometimes I just get so wrapped up in day-to-day stuff, I forget to look, and then I look back and I'm like, "Oh, I missed an entry 2 days ago, and wow, that was dead on." And so I try
Yeah.
I try to remember to look at it in advance so that I'm prepared, but life gets in the way
Yeah.
sometimes.
Like put it on your computer screen or something,
Yeah.
like I have, I have, a cork board, I mean, even the astrologer looks at her stuff, right? Um, so I look at it, or I'll put it like in my bathroom on my mirror. If I'm gonna have a day, one of the where my Wednesday is gonna be a Monday.
Right.
But yeah, thank you. On my website, I have a list of services,
Mhm.
and everybody could just take a look and see what's out there. I also have some uh 2024 like overviews for your sign, like what you can, like kind of an overview of what you can expect depending on your sign. So that's out there too. Any questions? I'm very accessible.
Yeah.
um Facebook, Twitter, or it's not Twitter anymore, but whatever it is now.
It's
uh
still twitter.com to me.
yeah, it's still Twitter, right?
Right.
um Email, so text, anything. So
And you have a podcast.
yes, I do. Thank you for making this. It's the Essential Zodiac podcast, and it's every other Friday. Let's see. My next one is this Friday. The new moon in Capricorn. So that'll be this Friday. And
Okay.
it's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I mean, all your uh podcast venues.
Yeah.
So yes,
And
please give a listen. I usually do the new moon, the full moon, and solstices, equinoxes, some special episodes throughout the year, depending. I'm trying to get my husband on. He does beer making. He's a brewer. And I thought that would be a fun one for the fall. So,
Yeah.
excuse me,
And
we'll see if he agrees.
I think that does sound like that would be a cool one. Um, so yeah, let's see. This episode will actually publish on Wednesday, the 17th. So the episode you just mentioned will be out by the time this one
Right,
publishes. So,
right. Oh, that's right. Okay.
oh,
Well,
that's good. That
yeah,
means it'll be really easy. It's
yeah,
already
yeah,
there. They
yeah.
don't
We
have to
could
look
just
for it.
go back because it's definitely
Yeah. Um, cool. Well, again, your website is essentialzodiac.com
yes.
and the podcast is Essential Zodiac Podcast.
Yep. I kept it simple.
Thank you. That's awesome. And I'll have links in the show notes to both.
Yes.
Cool.
Wonderful. This has been fun, Nikki. I mean, anytime, just give me a holler.
Yep.
There's always something going on in the cosmos to talk
That's
about. So,
so true. So true. And good luck with the podcast, especially because that's the newer thing since the last time we talked.
yeah,
But
thank
yeah, good
you.
luck with
And you
everything.
too.
Thank you. And thank you again for doing this.
Oh,
And
no
we will
problem. It's
definitely
been
talk to you
fun.
again. Yeah.
All right. Take care,
Awesome.
Nikki.
You too.
Thanks.
Thanks again to Cynthia for coming on the show, and thank you for listening. In the next episode, horror author and paranormal experiencer Craig Crawford is back, and we'll be joined with author D.A. Wysong for a roundtable conversation about our personal paranormal experiences and interests and how they influence our writing. If you're interested in sharing your own personal paranormal experiences, or if you have an idea for an episode topic, please reach out through the contact form at peeppodcast.com. That's PEEP podcast.com. Remember, that stands for People Experiencing Everyday Paranormal. While you're there, subscribe to my newsletter to keep up with the podcast and all my creative and energetic endeavors. I only email it once a month. You'll receive briefs on recent episodes, information on upcoming appearances, and some additional fun stuff, including occasional drawings for free books. If you enjoy the podcast, please give it some rating love on your favorite podcast app. Share it with friends and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Ratings and reviews help the podcast be found by others. A huge thank you to everyone who has given the show some love. I truly appreciate it. No matter how you support the show, listening, telling others about it, financial support through the donate button on the website, or any other way, I absolutely appreciate your being here. Thanks again for listening. Stay safe and be well.